Turkey is stepping up its activities as Middle East gears up for potential American strikes on Iran. Turkey is making a move on the diplomatic front amid heightened tensions between Iran and US. In a phone call earlier today, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian that Ankara is ready to help de-escalate rising tensions between Tehran and Washington. The message was direct. Turkey is willing to facilitate dialogue, to cool tempers, and to help resolve disputes before the situation spins out of control. The timing is critical. The call comes amid escalating military tensions across the region, with both sides openly preparing for contingencies. On the same day Erdogan was speaking to Tehran, Iran's top diplomat, Abbas Araghchi, was already in Istanbul, holding high-level talks, a sign that Ankara is positioning itself as an active diplomatic hub, not just a messenger. Just a day earlier, Erdogan approached U.S. President Donald Trump with a proposal that raised eyebrows across capitals: a trilateral summit, Turkey, the United States, and Iran, potentially held virtually. According to Turkey's pro-government daily Hurriyet, Trump responded positively. No formal confirmation, no official U.S. White House statement, just a quiet signal, subtle but deliberate, that Washington may be willing to listen even as its military posture hardens. Far from Washington, and even farther from Tehran, reports indicate that F-35A Lightning II fighter jets from Vermont's Green Mountain Boys have landed in the Azores, a strategic midpoint between North America and Europe, a staging area that matters. According to Israeli Hayom, citing sources familiar with the situation, the United States, alongside Britain, France, Israel, and other partners, has already prepared a coordinated bank of targets for potential strikes on Iran. At the same time, Tehran is not standing still. Iran now says it has inducted 1,000 drones into its army's combat structure, a clear signal that it is preparing for a prolonged and asymmetric confrontation if diplomacy fails.
The Middle East is heating up on multiple fronts: in the skies, on the streets, and now on the diplomatic back channel. As U.S. war drills intensify, an unexpected proposal lands on Donald Trump's desk: a trilateral summit: Washington, Tehran, Ankara. And suddenly, the question isn't just about force, it's about who blinks first. While the world's attention is fixed on the battlefields of Ukraine and the ruins of Gaza, another confrontation is quietly accelerating, one with global consequences. Across the Middle East, the United States is flexing its military muscle. Air Forces Central has launched multi-day readiness drills designed to deploy, disperse, and sustain combat power at scale. Aircraft carriers surge into position, fighter squadrons rotate forward, bases brace for escalation. At the center of this pressure campaign stands Iran, strained by internal unrest, economic collapse, and growing regional isolation. Tehran claims armed groups have infiltrated protests, blaming foreign interference and pointing directly at Israel and the United States. And yet, just as the drums of war grow louder, an unexpected move emerges. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has reached out to U.S. President Donald Trump with a proposal: a trilateral summit, the United States, Iran, and Turkey, possibly held virtually. A diplomatic off-ramp offered at the precise moment fighter jets thunder overhead. According to Turkey's pro-government newspaper Hurriyet, Trump responded positively. No confirmation, no official statement, just a signal, subtle but deliberate. At a moment when American air power is on full display, the White House appears open to talks. Turkey, long positioning itself as a regional power broker, sees opportunity in the chaos. Ankara has made clear it wants tensions surrounding Iran resolved diplomatically. Erdogan's advisors insist foreign interference will only deepen instability. Adding weight to that push, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is expected in Turkey later this week for talks with his counterpart Hakan Fidan. The timing is critical. While no dates are confirmed, the meeting signals movement and urgency behind the scenes. But this diplomatic maneuver unfolds under the shadow of American firepower. U.S. drills remain classified, but their objective is clear: overwhelming force, sustained presence, zero ambiguity. This is deterrence by visibility, a reminder that Washington can act quickly, decisively, and at scale. A newly released propaganda video claims Iran's latest hypersonic missile can split the USS Abraham Lincoln in two. The message is blunt, the timing deliberate, and the warning unmistakable. Iran's state-run Islamic ideology dissemination organization has published footage purporting to show its Fatah ballistic missile striking a U.S. aircraft carrier. The video claims American defense systems are powerless against Iran's new generation hypersonic weapons, boasting speeds of up to Mach 13.
The Pentagon's naval doctrine is fundamentally built upon one core belief: the myth of the Aegis system's invulnerability. They are convinced that the SPY-6 radars and Standard 3 missiles have successfully created an impenetrable iron dome over the water. But in modern warfare, physics doesn't compromise with anyone. America's defense system operates on predictive interception, that is, calculating the target's trajectory. However, this formula is ineffective against Iran's new generation of hypersonic missiles. When a missile traveling at a speed of Mach 13 enters its maneuver phase and alters its trajectory in a mere fraction of a second, the supercomputer on the naval vessel experiences computational paralysis. Furthermore, at this incredible speed, the plasma sheath effectively conceals the missile from radar detection. You cannot aim at something your system simply cannot perceive. However, the true nightmare is the underlying mathematics. Every single destroyer has a very limited ammunition magazine. In a saturation attack scenario, when hundreds of inexpensive projectiles are launched simultaneously alongside heavy missiles, the fire control system will experience a processing overflow. Even if they manage to intercept 90% of the incoming targets, the $20 million munitions will be exhausted by the $20,000 drones, and at the very moment those launchers are completely empty, the massive $10 billion carrier becomes a completely defenseless target. Here, the reaction time is less than 3 minutes. In this asymmetrical equation, aircraft carriers are no longer the hunters. They are big, slow-moving targets who have quite voluntarily entered the killing zone. This is a war that America has already lost on the calculator before firing the very first bullet.
The release comes as reports confirm the U.S. aircraft carrier strike group is heading towards the Gulf amid rapidly escalating tensions with Tehran. President Donald Trump says an American armada is moving into the region, describing a large flotilla deployed just in case force is required.
We're watching Iran. We're watching Iran. You know, we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. It's a big force. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I stopped 837 hangings on Thursday. They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture. Very smart people, by the way, but it's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit. It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So that was a good sign. But we have an armada. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. And maybe we won't have to use it. We'll see.
The USS Abraham Lincoln has altered course from the South China Sea and is now sailing towards the Middle East with its strike group. That group includes Arleigh Burke-class destroyers armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles capable of striking deep inside Iranian territory. U.S. officials confirm the ships are equipped with the Aegis combat system, designed to intercept ballistic and cruise missiles and aerial threats. Despite that capability, Iran's video openly challenges Washington's defenses, portraying a direct hit on the carrier as inevitable. Behind the scenes, diplomatic and military coordination is intensifying. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff says an American delegation met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss Gaza and broader regional issues. According to Witkoff, the talks included senior White House advisors and focused on next steps in continued regional cooperation. Israeli media reports now suggest the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, and the United Kingdom could support U.S. military operations if conflict erupts. That support would reportedly include intelligence sharing, logistics, and participation in intercepting Iranian missiles or drones. The report says those defenses would protect Israel, U.S. bases, and strategic sites across the region. Iranian commanders are responding with explicit threats. Ali Abdullahi Ali Abadi warns that any attack would turn every U.S. base in the region into a legitimate target. Revolutionary Guard Commander General Mohammad Pakpour says Iran is more ready than ever, with forces on hair-trigger alert. He warns Washington and Israel to avoid miscalculation as military assets converge and rhetoric hardens.